that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly. I hope that you're having the time of your life. Think twice. That's my only advice. Oh, who do you think you are? Oh, bless your soul. Really think you're in control. I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. Just like me. My heroes had the heart, lose their lives out on the land. And all I remember is thinking I want to be like them. Oh, yay! Ever since I was little, it looked like fun. And it's not coincidence I've come. And I could die when I'm done. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you're crazy. Maybe we're crazy. Probably. Oh, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you're crazy. Maybe we're crazy. I love this part right here. Loving it. Hey, everybody. Sorry I'm late. Well, this is Simos on Building. This is not ZNBC. This is not Diamond TV where everything starts on time. No, honey. This is SML TV on 85, plot number 8585 on Simon Wewer Lane, where nothing works. So I was on here earlier and I was getting a bit of a reverb from my power source, my cord, my power cord from my laptop. Whenever I would feed it into the adapter, there was a bit of like static sound and it was just annoying. So I had to figure that out all by myself. I finally got it and I just used a different adapter. Thank you for joining me this morning, wherever you're watching me from. Somebody says, we know you're not happy. I'll explain all this. I'll explain. Following from where? Somebody says your following was from Comrade. Indeed, you kept us waiting. I did. My sincere apologies. Well, you're late. I know it. But you all smart, so you're forgiven. You think so? You like this shirt? You know this shirt. A young lady that's styling me for the Icon Zambia. She's the one that got me this shirt. I like the shirt. It's a black shirt, and you know who taught me this this thing where you put the little handkerchief on the. David Kazadi does that. I've never done that, and so in the middle of wardrobe, he walks up to me and says, "You should slip one of these in there." And I quite like it. Guys, thank you. Let's get into it. As many of you know, last night we saw pictures on the internet of a rendezvous. The word rendezvous is a French derivative. It comes from the French word to meet. When you say to somebody, "Let's rendezvous," it means let's meet. Well, last night we saw the rendezvous, the meeting of the current legitimate, on paper, president of the Patriotic Front meeting with the ECL, the sixth and former president of the Republic of Zambia, who is the de facto rogue leader of the notorious Patriotic Front, because as you know, there are two factions within the PF. Whenever the PF lost power, that entity, that political party, split in half as we know it. On one side, you have Miles Sampa, who has legitimately become the bona fide leader of the PF. And the reason for that is that Parliament recognizes him, the Registrar of Societies recognizes him. Whenever it comes time for the elections in 2026, as far as the PF is concerned, Miles Sampa will be on the ballot as the presidential candidate of the new PF. And as you know, Walungu split and he went his way and he formed some type of alliance with a group of his friends. And really, that's what UCA is. UCA is simply a conglomeration. It is a constellation of disgruntled deplorables that looked at the current political situation and they sort of huddled together and they said, "We don't like the fact that HH is president. Why don't you and I," meaning Balungu and his band of brothers, "why don't we get together and form a political alliance called, and we should call it UCA, and try to convince the Zambian people that we are a good alternative." Well, the truth is, UCA is not even registered. Let's start there. Okay. I mean, let's not even go. UCA is not even a registered political party. So everything that by ECL, the former and sixth president, Lungu, is doing, along with his band of brothers, they're simply blowing hot air. I mean, they're literally rearranging the chairs on the Titanic. It doesn't matter where you put the chairs. That ship, SHIP, will still sink. Let me say that again because I think that's important. By Edgar Lungu coming together with his band of brothers, his colleagues, a few selected disgruntled deplorables, when they come together and they organize this thing called the UCA Alliance, it is the same. It is tantamount. In Zambia, we say tantamount. It is tantamount to rearranging the chairs on the Titanic. It doesn't matter where you put the chairs, honey. The ship will still sink. And that's where they are. So we saw this rendezvous between Miles Sampa and ECL. And of course, the political internet space went abuzz because they were wondering, what is this about? Why would Miles meet with ECL? Now, in order for you to understand that picture, because, you know, that old saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Do you know what it means when they say that? When they say that a picture's worth 1,000 words, is that as long as you don't hear them speaking, you can put any caption you want. It will still make sense, which is what I did last night. Last night, I looked at the photograph and I could only imagine by ECL turning to Miles and saying to Miles, "Mwaiche, instead of Africa, the cafe steam so that 2041. Of course, I was being facetious. I was being sarcastic. It's called a meme. Those photographs by ECL and Miles Sampa are meme worthy. It means, it's meme heaven. You can put any caption you want. It'll make sense. And this is one of the reasons why I find it so funny. I find it strange that some of you, you hopped on my Facebook page and I made a comment about that rendezvous, that picture between ECL and Miles. Some of you started coming up with your own crazy conclusions. Oh, where were you scared? Oh, where it's going to give you sleepless nights. There is nothing sleepless night about this photograph. Nothing. And I'll explain why. Now, before you begin to understand this meeting, you must go all the way back to the beginning. You remember a few years ago when Michael Sata died and there was a leadership vacuum and the Zambian people were running around like headless chickens. We didn't know who the hell was going to be president. There were so many names floating around, given Luvinda, this, that, and the other. We didn't know. And then all of a sudden, a ram in the bush appeared. A ram in the bush. If you're not a Pentecostal Christian, you won't even know what that is. Okay. All of a sudden, Valungu came out of nowhere, and he was sort of defined as the individual that was bequeathed to the Zambian people from Michael Sata. Somehow the Zambian people had it in their minds that, because this is the one that Michael Sata had left in charge, it stands to reason that he would be the best candidate. Well, the candidate came with a lot of flaws. He came with a lot of a lot of peculiar personality quirks that we didn't at the time take a closer look at. But because we were so desperate to fill the vacuum of leadership, because we were so desperate to have a replacement president, we ignored, by and large, Valungu's blemishes. We ignored his shortcomings. We ignored the fact that he had a problem with alcohol. We ignored the fact that he wasn't prepared for the presidency. We ignored the fact that he was thrust into greatness against his own will, in a sense. Because, the man just didn't, he found himself in a position, a juxtaposition, found himself between a rock and a hard place, and literally he became a president almost by default. And I've mentioned this to you many, many times. I think that we have reached a stage in our political dispensation as a nation. We should no longer elect leaders that are not prepared, that do not have the gumption, that do not have the self-starting spirit to aim for the presidency. The desire to be president must be deliberate, because when you're deliberate, you have a plan. When you have a plan, you have a vision. When you have a vision, you execute. So, ladies and gentlemen, at that time, we were so desperate. ECL came on the scene, and of course there was that split between Miles of Sampa and ECL. And you must understand that the political conflagration, the political angst, the political friction that exists between ECL and Miles of Sampa didn't start today. This political friction has been there since the time Basata died, probably even right before. And you must understand that one of the reasons why the inner circle of the PF have always despised Miles Sampa, they've always hated him, they've always wanted to sideline him, they've always disdained him, is because Miles challenged ECL from the very, very beginning, at a time when it was not popular to do so, at a time when it was almost political suicide to stand up as a young man and say, I want my voice heard. I want my presence to be counted. I feel that I've got something to offer the Zambian people, and I put my name forward for leadership, and this is what I intend to do. Well, that in those days, that was unheard of. And then you had these diehard kadas who felt that Miles Sampa was insolent. They felt that Miles Sampa was a joker that wasn't worth the time. They felt that he was a rebel. He was a mole. He was a dissident. He was planted to create confusion within the party. But the truth is, all he was saying was, I want to put my name forward for leadership. And in those days, they blackballed him, but political what am I trying to say? Politics being what it is. That's what I wanted to say. Politics being what it is. Miles was still incorporated within the PF. He ultimately became mayor of the city of Lusaka by the endorsement of ECL. Had it not been for ECL to endorse Miles Sampa, Miles Sampa would not have been the mayor of Lusaka. The inner circle of the PF whispered into ECL's ear, don't give him another chance. After all, he challenged you as he wanted to be president when Basata died. So how can you point at this young man and say that he should be the mayor of Lusaka when he challenged you? Leave him. Throw him aside. Relegate him to the archives of young politicians who are over ambitious. Disdain this Miles Sampa. They said that to ECL. ECL looked at Miles and said, no, I'm going to give him a chance. Miles, come on over here, son. Listen, I know you and I have had differences. I know you wanted to be president at a time when I wanted to be president, but you just weren't ready. So here it is. I'm going to give you another chance. I'm going to let you be mayor. Okay. So, and I was at that rally, the last rally in Kanyama. The PF called me and they said, Mr. Mayor, we want you to cover the rally. And they paid me a lot of money to do that because I'm a television station here online. The same thing that the UPND do. When they call me, I go, I cover it. But some of you Dwanzis, no, you were dancing with the PF. Well, I was covering it in my way, in my unique way. I'm not ZNBC. Anyway, I don't want to just digress and talk about that. So I went and I covered the thing. Miles ultimately became the mayor of Lusaka. But I tell you, from the day Miles became mayor, it was nonstop being harassed by PF members. One of the rifts that occurred while Miles was mayor was when he looked at the income of City Market, and he noted with curiosity that City Market, with all of its vast avenues of revenue from the buses. I mean, now remember, City Market is a money-making machine. Let's pause there for a moment because I don't want to gloss over this. I want you to get what I'm trying to say. There's a reason I'm bringing this up. Let me say that again. City Market is a juggernaut. It is a money-making machine. The revenue generated from City Market alone, just City Market, not all these other markets, just this City Market, the money that comes out of this market, Bwana, it's enough to fix the entire CBD. There is a river of money flowing from City Market. So Miles Sampa looked at the account of City Market and said, how does a market that generates so much money, it only has a few thousand kwacha in the account? At the time, the market manager, whose name was Matafwali, he's a guy I knew. Matafwali and Davis Mwila from the Patriotic Front, the Secretary General of the Patriotic Front, the market master and Davis Mwila were very close because Davis Mwila used to tell the market master, Iwe Matafwali, ishompia mupangira City Market, mulete first kuno, elionga mwaleta kuno ku secretariat yaba PF, ishala po, sho mutwale ku City Council. The Secretary General of the Patriotic Front at the time, Mr. Davis Mwila, told Matafwali, Iwe Matafwali, the money that you have generated from City Market, before you take it, before you remit to Lusaka City Council, first leteni kuno. Twalafu miapo, party mobilization, logistics. I can't tell you what this one is for, but I will explain. Mubike chifulu hapo. Isaka ya mpie esho mubiki hapo. Anyway, ishala ko. Asho mutuale ku Lusaka City Council. So after a paltry, a measly few thousand kwacha went to the bank account of in Lusaka City Council. Miles Sampa stood up and said, Imwe, market ya kulefi, mukwete fiama 4,000 kwacha. How is that possible? When he started asking questions, Miles was being threatened. You are Miles, you were. Why are you asking such questions? You are wish you Miles Sampa was consistently harassed by PF cadres. Why? Because he took a stand. Now, of course, I'm not suggesting that Miles is perfect. He's not. But when it came to that issue, he did raise a concern. So all throughout Miles's history with the PF, it has been back, forth. Chise, Cho, Chise. Hey, Milesy. They never liked him. They never liked him. And so this time around, when the opportunity came for Miles to cement his position within the leadership of a party that he loves, a party that he's been a part of for many, many years, he decided to play them at their own game. Oh, they didn't see it coming, boy. I mean, that's the reason Miles Sampa's called Mbappe. That's the reason he's called that, because he pulled a fast one on the established PF and they didn't see it coming. As you and I sit here now, like it, love it, leave it, loathe it, despise it, embrace it, reject it. It doesn't matter. The truth is, right now, as we speak, on paper, legitimately, legally, Miles Sampa is the president of that PF, whether you like it or not. Ule fire nanguta, ule fire, oh. Miles Sampa, a president waba PF. Abena Nakachinda didn't see it coming. Emmanuel Mwamba didn't see it coming. Given Luwinda didn't see it coming. They were blindsided. ECL, the former and sixth president of the Republic of Zambia, tried to downplay Miles's takeover. He tried to downplay it, boy, but he didn't see it coming. So that's where it is. So now here it is. Let's fast forward to last night. We see this photograph. Oh, let me change this. We see this photograph of Miles by ECL. Now, many of you want to read into that. Many of you, especially, I'm in a diehard PF. The prodigal son has come back. Come back where? There's nothing prodigal son about that photograph. Nothing. Let me tell you why Miles went to see ECL. It's just to talk to him. Just to say, hey, let's catch up. Let's talk. You're my elder brother. Sure, we're standing on opposite sides of the political spectrum, but that doesn't matter. I can still come here and talk to you. Now, the problem with the diehard PF members, they think that is Miles Sampa groveling, crawling back to ECL as the prodigal son, saying, oh, Nadidu Fianya. Nothing of the kind. That's just in your head. You're creating a fairy tale where none exists. And then on ECL side, ECL posted, and the implication of ECL's post, of course, he didn't say it in black and white, but you could read between the lines. ECL sort of implied that Miles Sampa called for this meeting and he wanted to make amends. He wanted to sort of reconcile. He wanted to find out if there's any way that they can work together. That's the tone and implication of ECL's post. But the truth is, nothing like that exists. Miles simply went to ECL to say, hey, what's up? What's going on? Wanted to chat with you. Wanted to come by and holler, hey, You political amateurs. Hey, Miles, abuela. Abuela quisa. That meeting changes nothing. I will tell you right now. That meeting is as worthless as a parrot sitting on a power line with the power turned off. Ooh, that's deep. I'm telling you right now. Let me say that again. The meeting between ECL and Mao Sampa is as worthless as a bird sitting on a power line with the power turned off. It was just a meeting of minds. It began and it ended there. That's it. Now, the sooner you realize that, the better off you are. But if you begin to read too much into it, oh, honey, you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be lost in the wilderness. You are. All right. I thought I'd. There's nothing like that. It's true. It's true. All righty. It's absolutely true. Now here, this is something I want to. Ben Jr. says, and yet you're here talking about it. Guys, you must understand, and I don't know this Zambian narrative, it's strange. Guys, these political figures are significant political figures. So everything they do, everything they say has to be scrutinized. We can comment. So whenever people like this say, yeah, but don't talk about, why not? I will tell you, early this morning, I won't tell you the name, a very high-ranking PF official sent me a message. I won't say who it was. Sent me a text message on WhatsApp and said to me, Mr. Mwewa, you would do well to stay away from this topic. Don't talk about this. Why not? Why not? These are political figures that have to be commented on. ECL is a former president of this nation. Whatever he says, whatever he does is subject to analysis, scrutiny, and observation. What is wrong with you? Don't talk about it. What do you want us to talk about? The weather? When ECL makes a statement on the news and it's on the news, you don't want us to talk about it? What do you want us to talk about? Daisies tiptoeing through the tulips? What do you want us to do? Talk about Tabasco sauce and how hot it is? No, man. We talk about current political events. Get it out of your mind that we can't. Listen, there was a time here at Simonson Building, and I've shared this with you many times. There was a time, I'll get it right in a moment. There was a time that I couldn't talk about ECL in any way. There was a time if I even whispered that I disagree with this, that, and the other, oh my goodness. The PF cadres that would line up my door, literally break my door down and threaten to beat me to a pulp, threaten to end my life, threaten to harm me and my family. It happened countless times. And now to live in a dispensation where I can refer to my ECL, criticize him, tell him what I really think, you have no idea how liberating that is. Now, notwithstanding, HH is not perfect. He's not an angel. God knows he's not an angel. There are some governments that are better than others. While we agree there's no such thing as a perfect government, we do agree that there are some governments that are better than others. And I can say without any fear of contradiction, trepidation, or contradiction, this administration is a whole lot better than those scoundrels we had, because I don't have to worry about people kicking down my door. I don't have to worry about cadres threatening me, threatening to kill me in my own place of business. I used to hear that every day, every single, and I got tired of it. I did. So you understand my frustration. All right. All right. Thank you so much. Somebody says, Kingsley says, preach on, my friend. Cut the meat room. And we want to also hear you talk about the fuel reduction. Also, we're waiting to hear quality checks and balances and not screenshots. Tell them off, man. Yeah, I mean, we've made that clear. The cost of living is high. Everybody knows that. Everybody's been affected by it, but it still doesn't negate the fact that this administration, in my view, this administration is way better than those scoundrels we had. Way better. I will take this administration any day of the week, twice on Sunday, over those scoundrels. All right. Well, hey, guys, thank you for watching. God bless. Bye.